Hello and welcome to the Showtime with Shane podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome to the first show with my new setup here. Hopefully it looks good. If you're listening on Spotify, then this is just going to be the exact same as always. So, there you go. You can go check it out on YouTube if you want to see my new setup. If you're curious about my setup, if you want to see it up close, let me know, and I can make a little TikTok or reel or short or something to just kind of go through it, because there's not a ton of stuff, so it wouldn't take that long. But yeah, in this episode of the podcast, I'm going to be going through and just going through some misses and snubs from the 98th Academy Awards. Of course, this is based on nominations, not wins. I'm recording this still over a month before the actual ceremony, but nominations came out last week. I've been working my way through the nominations. I've already seen most of them, but I am rewatching all of them after the nominations just to look for specific things. And yeah, so I'm going to just go through some snubs that stood out to me immediately, and then some others that I've thought on. I've waited about a week to do this just because others have been coming to me, and I assumed they would keep coming to me, and they did. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoy this video, and let me make a note here. I'm trying to decide what order to do this. The first thing that I just feel like I should say, we have like 12 different categories here that we're going to go through. I think that the biggest snub overall is probably Wicked for Good not getting a single nomination. Listen, I liked it more than most people did. My wife absolutely loved it, so that helped contribute to me liking it, because, I don't know, viewing a movie with someone and them loving it, I think, is usually going to result in you liking it more. Maybe not. But I don't think it necessarily should have gotten in on Best Picture, I would have liked to, just because I think it's fun to see maybe one of the actors get in, but I don't think it necessarily. I don't see those as snubs. But the fact that it didn't get in on the visual awards, the production design, and costume and design especially, but more than anything else, the makeup and hairstyling. When you look at, of course, what they did for Elphaba, which was just as good as the first movie, but also they stepped it up with the Scarecrow and the Tin Man, and I don't know, I just think that was a really interesting choice to not even give it anything in one of those categories. So again, I understand it not getting in Best Picture, but the fact that it didn't get in at all with a single nomination is kind of crazy to me. Now, moving through, I don't think that I didn't really think there was any snubs for Best Picture or anything like that. It was a tight race. There were a lot of movies. There were some other movies that came out this year that I really enjoyed, that wishful thinking, I wish that they would have gotten Oscar love, but I don't know if it's necessarily a snub. I absolutely loved the movie Rental Family, and I think if it would have had backing, it probably would have done well, but it didn't. And so it's I don't necessarily think it was a snub. The Long Walk, I would have loved to have seen get something, but again, what? I don't know. But I'm pretty content with most of the nominations. One that I really was hoping for, and I think something that's important when you're looking at snubs, is saying who you would replace, because it can't be a snub unless you think that there's someone that it's better than that's there, if that makes sense. So like I just said with Wicked, it's makeup and hairstyling. I think Sinners, the makeup and hairstyling was really good, and I'm glad that Sinners got as many nominations as it did. I think it's cool it broke the record, so I don't want to take away from that, and not that it was bad in Sinners. That's not what I mean. I mean, these are the 5 best, right, of the year. I think Wicked's makeup and hairstyling was probably better than Sinners. I think it was probably better than The Smashing Machine. Not Frankenstein, and then I have not seen the other 2 nominees yet, Kokohu and The Ugly Stepsister. Costume design. I loved Avatar Fire and Ash. I don't really understand how it got in on costume design. Other 4 nominees for costume design, I think all make a lot of sense, but the Avatar one kind of confused me. And then looking at production design, that one, I would say maybe One Battle After Another would be the one that I would cut for Wicked. But again, that one, makeup and hairstyling is the one that I feel really strongly about, that it's crazy that it did not get in. Hi. I don't know how low the camera goes, but my cat's right here walking around right now. I think she's asking me to feed her. There's food back there for you, girl. Okay. Now moving on to Best Actor. I really, really, really was hoping that Joel Edgerton was going to get in for Train Dreams. I think that was one of the best performances of the year. Like I said, I really liked Rental Family. I thought that Brendan Fraser's performance in that was miles better than his performance in The Whale. Again, I mean, it's year to year, so it's not really, it's hard to compare. I have not seen Wagner Moura's performance in The Secret Agent yet. That's the only, so I don't know whether or not I would put that one above Joel Edgerton or not. To me, Joel Edgerton's performance is leagues above Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke is kind of the outlier here for me. Not that his performance was bad. It just didn't really, that movie as a whole just didn't really do anything for me. And I wouldn't have had him there. The other one for Best Actress, I think Chase Infinity definitely should have gotten in. I have not seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You or Song Sung Blue yet. I will have seen all these before the Oscars. But I would honestly put Chase Infinity in there over Emma Stone. No hate to Emma Stone. I know Emma Stone just kind of gets in now because she's Emma Stone. And her performances are really good. She's one of the best actresses ever. Her performance, again, it's not bad. It didn't do as much for me. And I don't know. If somebody in this movie was going to get in, it would be Jesse Plemons, but he would have probably been like my 7th or 8th choice. So couldn't have put him in for Best Actor, but I don't know. The Emma Stone one just was a little funky to me. And then one movie that I hated to see get neglected, but it did, was Wake Up Dead Man. But I don't really know where it would have not gotten neglected. I think I was kind of hoping that it would get a Best Adapted Screenplay, just because Glass Onion got one, Knives Out got a Best Original Screenplay nomination. So I was hoping Wake Up Dead Man would keep that streak alive. I don't know what I would put it in over though. Maybe just for the screenplay, I would probably put it over Frankenstein. I think the screenplay, the writing was better for Wake Up Dead Man than it was for Frankenstein. Maybe that's just me. And if it is, that's okay, because this is my podcast and these are my opinions, and that's all we're talking about are my opinions on my podcast. So there we go. And then for Best Original Screenplay, I would have loved to have seen Sorry Baby get in. I didn't think there was a chance, but then after Julia Roberts talked about it at the Golden Globes, I was like, well, maybe there's a chance. I haven't seen it. Was just an accident. But again, Blue Moon didn't really do anything for me, so I would have liked to have seen Sorry Baby get in there over Blue Moon. Again, I think that's kind of a little bit of a pipe dream, but it is what it is. Now, looking at Best International Feature Film, the two movies that I'm going to talk about were both shortlisted. The only two of these I've seen are Sentimental Value and Surat. I have not yet seen It Was Just an Accident, The Secret Agent, or The Voice of Henry Job. I will watch those and we'll find out. I think both of these movies, for me, I would have preferred to see over Surat, one or the other. Again, I won't speak on the other ones because I don't know if they should be in there or not. But I would have absolutely loved to have seen Left-Handed Girl get in. It was shortlisted. It's a Taiwanese film on Netflix is where you can watch it. It was released here on Netflix, and it's just a really good movie. And I thought maybe there was a chance because Sean Baker was like a co-producer of the film. He also was a co-writer of the film. And so I know he did really well at the Oscars last year. So I was like, maybe there's a chance he'll get some. That connection will help it out. And again, it got shortlisted, but it didn't make it in. And the one that I don't feel as strongly about, but I think was kind of the more obvious snub, was obviously No Other Choice, which again was shortlisted. The Korean entry for the Best International Feature. I was surprised that it did not get in. I think that there was a real case for Lee Byung-hun as Best Actor. For Best Actor, again, he wasn't going to be in my 5, but if he popped up there, I would have maybe been a little surprised just because I wouldn't have expected it, but I wouldn't have been like, that's undeserved. But I was surprised that No Other Choice didn't get in. I think that's pretty crazy. Again, no hate, no shade to those other movies, but it is what it is. Now, looking at Best Animated Feature, I knew this was going to be quite a long shot. My favorite animated film from last year was Predator Killer of Killers. Realistically, I didn't think it was going to get in, but I was kind of just hoping it would, and it's okay that it didn't. But I just wanted to mention it here because it was my favorite animated film of last year. Well, no, maybe Zootopia 2. I don't know. But Predator Killer Killers was up there for me. I haven't seen Arco or Little Amelie or the Character of Rain yet. That's one movie, Little Amelie or the Character of Rain. To me, I probably would have had Predator Killer of Killers in over Elio, and I did quite like Elio, but I would have probably had Predator in there over. And I'm not quite as hyped up with K-pop Demon Hunters as everyone else is, but I think that one's was pretty obviously going to be there. So it is what it is. Now, when it comes to Best Original Score, this one I struggle a little bit more with pulling a replacement. I would say I would probably remove Begonia as would be my fifth. I was pretty shocked that F1 didn't get in. I thought that the F1 score was really, really good. And it's Hans Zimmer, so it's like that should kind of be enough, right? Like that it has that going for it. And then the other one, and I didn't catch this until my rewatch. And then I was rewatching the movie. I was like, man, I really wish this would have gotten a Best Original Score nomination, was Marty Supreme. I think the score in that movie is really good. I think it fits really well. I think the soundtrack is also good. Not that has anything to do with this. But I thought the score was really solid and would have really liked to see it in here. But again, it didn't. Now, when it comes to Best Editing, I know it's like this guy's a Best Editing snub. Yeah, I do. I would probably put this in over Sentimental Value for Best Editing, and that would be 28 Years Later. However, I understand that editing in that movie is pretty divisive, just because like some people loved it, some people didn't. I was in the camp of loving it. I loved that movie. I liked the editing a lot. I thought it played into the movie really well. I think it's very much a perspective editing, letting us see the perspective of the character we're supposed to be viewing the story from, which is Spike. And I just really liked the editing for that movie, and I thought maybe that would be the one place it could get in. Not that I was expecting it, but just to maybe see it get one singular nomination. That would be where it is. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I have the hiccups right now, which is great for podcasting. Now for Best Visual Effects, this is the one that I have the most snubs on for 3. And I think it's kind of crazy that at least one of these didn't get in, especially over The Lost Bus. I'm going to rewatch them all. And I know you're like, why would you rewatch a movie? Because you don't want to. Because I would not feel a sense of accomplishment if I didn't. I'm going to rewatch The Last Bus. I'm not excited. I didn't like that movie. I thought it was boring. I thought it was, I don't know why. I was disappointed that Matthew McConaughey was in it because I love Matthew McConaughey, and that was just like, this is such a nothing burger of a movie. And then Sinners is another one. I think Sinners is a very visually appealing film, but I would put that more for the cinematography, which again, I think it earned the nomination for and will likely win. It's either my 1 or 2. But, hey Benny, but The Lost Bus, I would have any of these movies in there over that, and I'm shocked not one of them made it in. Superman, Fantastic Four, First Steps, or How to Train Your Dragon. I know that some people, it's like visual effects, that's a way for not good movies to get Oscar nominations. I'm doing air quotes if you're listening on Spotify. But like, it's not, like, I think something that the Academy struggled with this year is they were so worried about the film as a whole when it came to the nomination for a lot of these. And that's not true in every factor. Makeup was an example. There's several single nominations. It's like Sentimental Value, I don't think it needed to get 9 nominations. Like, I think there were other really good movies that could get in. And I'll talk about that more in my next snubs here, or my next category that I want to talk about. But it's just like, I feel like they were just nominating the same movies over and over again because those were some of the best movies of the year. They were in a Best Picture. I get that. But it's like, just because they're in a Best Picture doesn't mean they have to be nominated in all these other categories. Like, I think that was it's a really good opportunity to let other movies that are not Best Picture worthy to get some love from the Academy. But whatever. I mean, it is what it is. And I want to talk about best casting. I was really excited for this award, just because it's new. But then it's 5 movies that like we just see over and over again. And I'm not saying those movies are not well casted. I think they were very well cast. I was just kind of expecting this one to be a little more diverse in its like the choices, and diverse in the sense of films. I was expecting this to get another 1 or 2 or 3 even films that maybe didn't show up anywhere else on the Oscar card, but instead it was just 5 of the Best Picture nominees bumping up another. And I'm not saying that just bumped them up. Like it's an Oscar. It's just as valid as the other ones. But I don't know. I think I would have just liked to have seen a little more diversity, and I'm hoping for that for next year. All right. And the last one, and this is so funny because this is one of the categories that I love the Oscars, so I'm super invested in all of them. But with the documentary and then the shorts, those are the ones that I'm not quite as into, because my love really lies with narrative feature-length films. But the most passionate snub, I scoffed and was like upset when the nominations came out for Best Animated Short, and Snow Bear did not get in. It was shortlisted, and I was like, surely it's going to get in. Like, it might even win. Again, is the only one I had seen. But it was shortlisted, so I was really excited. And then it didn't get in, and I was so disappointed. And I've watched 4 of the nominees already. The only one I'm missing is Forever Green, which I think is probably the reason it's not in there, because my Forever Green, again, I haven't seen it, but I know it's also centered on a bear, and I guess maybe people just didn't want to vote for 2 bear movies, but it's okay. You can have 2 bear movies. To me, Snow Bear is better than the 4 that I watched. I think it's wonderful that it's hand drawn animation. I think the story behind it is cool, that Aaron Blaise did all the animation himself over several years. It has a good message at the end, which I know they really like with animated shorts and documentaries and things. It's like you want to get a good message in there, which it has. Like Butterfly, I think, and all these short films were really good. Butterfly was really well animated and really cool. I would have had Snow Bear in it over Butterfly. The Girl Who Cried Pearls, it's like, again, really good. Retirement Plan, really good. The Three Sisters, that one, I'm like, I don't know why this one's here. The other 3, I get. So I would say I would put Snow Bear in instead of the Three Sisters. And I was upset about Snow Bear. If you're curious how much this guy right here loves Snow Bear, so I watched it last year because it came up on my radar. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This sounds like a cool thing. And then it became available on YouTube. So I watched it and I was like, whoa, that's cool. And if you're wondering why I feel so passionate about Snow Bear, I have watched it at least 6 times this year since then, because my son loves it and requests it all the time. Well, at least 6 times, which I guess 6 times over a month really isn't that much. But like, when you're watching this, like watching one thing, it is, and I will happily watch it with him every time he wants to, because I love it too. The last time we watched it, I didn't even watch it. I just watched him while he was watching it and watched him smile on the parts that I know are his favorite. It's very sweet. He loves Snow Bear, or as he calls it, No Bear. No Bear. He does the for the S for some reason, which he also did just when it was snowing the other day. He goes, no outside, which is just the cutest little thing ever. And he could say the letter S, just if you're curious. So it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just him being cute. But he loves Snow Bear, and I really wish it would have gotten in. But alas, earwax, it did not. So there we go. Those are the biggest snubs for me. I'll say stay tuned next week on the podcast. I've already recorded the episode a while ago, and I'll go ahead and apologize that the audio on that next episode is not going to be super crisp, just because I was having some issues with my computer that I did not know about while I was recording, and I realized after that there were issues. So, but I couldn't I didn't want to re-record it, because it wasn't just me. It was actually a guest, the first episode in the series that I think I'm going to call Movie Portfolio, where I interview people just about just questions about movies, and I interviewed my wife. So that'll be coming next week. If you stay tuned on my blog, I'm pretty active on there, writing a lot of stuff for about the Oscars. And then on my YouTube channel, once we get closer to the Oscars, probably the week or two before, I'll be putting out a video with my full Oscar predictions. Just so if you're watching this because you love the Oscars, or listening to this episode because you love the Oscars, know that I have more Oscars content coming down the road. So thank you so much for watching or listening. I appreciate your time. Thank you for spending the last about 20 minutes with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, evening, or whatever time you're watching this. And as always, I will just say, happy watching.